Welcome back to WigginsTV, everybody. Haha. I told you I got you, homie. Shouts out to my boy Showtime out in Minnesota. He requested this, man. Today we gonna be talking about the Lynwood neighborhood Crips. Told you I got you, homie. No long with the intro. Here we go. The origin of Lynwood neighborhood Crips differs from person to person. But what I like to do is to be unbiased and take the common denominator and see what all parties can agree on. For all you hood ninjas out there that ain't graduate, common denominator means what they all got in common at the end of the day. It was said that the surrounding Paru gangs that was already established years prior was cool with a group of guys and approached a group of young black men with intentions of making them turn Paru. True, they was approached by other gangs, but instead, this group of young black men revolted, and in 1978, Lynwood neighborhood Crip was born. This was met with a lot of hate and resentment because, for one, you gotta remember, they got a huge amount of opposing forces. The mob Parus, Cross Atlantic Parus, 211 criminals, Pomino Gangster Crips, Pope Street Crips, and the Walnut Block Crips. Back in the day, I'm not sure if they still active, no disrespect, it's all love. And a bunch of Latino gangs like Young Crowd, the dozens of Southsider gangs in Lynwood, and in the neighboring city of Southgate, which I can tell you from experience is pretty racist. Also, remember that in this area of Lynwood, some black gangs in Lynwood were actually formed to protect the black community from being terrorized by the Latino gangs who would dominate the area in that time. If you go back to my Forgotten Hoods of LA about the 211s in Lynwood, you will definitely remember me referencing a racist Mexican gang that formed an alliance in Lynwood that went by the name Socking Out N-Words. You know, S-O-N, Socking Out Ninjas. You gotta give the Lynwood neighborhood Crips they credit, because they stood the test of time and they grew in numbers tremendously over the late 70s and the early 80s and the 90s. And even today. I know I'm gonna catch a lot of hate for saying this, but Lynwood neighborhood Crips, scientifically proven, is the biggest Crip hood in Lynwood, having the most members and also has the largest territory in the city. They territory go from Imperial to the north, to Carlin to the south, and from Atlantic to the east, and Bullets Road to the west. And some of their southwestern territory even stretched down to Long Beach Boulevard. If you an honest man like me and you keep it real, you got to keep it real and say you remember the Lynwood neighborhood Crip part on a street DVD called Rep Your Set, where they would show hood ninjas with rap skills and give them an opportunity to showcase their talent. I low-key wish they did a part 2 today, because I like it how, like, when they go from hood to hood, respectfully interview rappers and homies with talents and maybe get a history lesson going too. Like in the same format of Rep Your Set DVD. Devo is one of the most reputable homies from Lynwood and hood, and was seen on his DVD dropping some fire bars on the mic. Go check the song out if you haven't already. Now, I'm not sure about where everyone else is on this DVD, but I would like to give a rest in peace to a brother on this DVD. Pay attention, because the phys-ed's on the chisel, you feel me? If you remember the Lynwood neighborhood Crip part on this DVD, it was a homie holding a chizop stick. And he was like, I'm gonna put it up. But when you come, I ain't gonna put it up. I'm not gonna put it up. That's Lil K9. Rest in peace. He passed away in the mid-2000s. Kind of similar to the LA politics, they have a long-standing beef with the gangster Crips, which might even be more full-fledged than the beef that they have with the actual Parus in the area, which is pretty crazy. But I'm gonna get into an alleged story, what the police said allegedly involved the Lynwood neighborhood Crips. But before I do that, let me make this clear, bro. Shouts out to the Pomino Gangster Crips, the Pope Street Crips, the 211s, all the other Crips in Lynwood. I'm gonna make this clear. I'm not gonna diss anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody look better than anybody, man. You see, I done did a segment on the 211s in Lynwood, bro. I ain't got no favoritism when it come to Crips and criminals and all that. It's all love with me. I look at all y'all like cousins, man. You know, I'm pushing Crip unity on this platform, bro. And I'm not gonna say any derogatory words, bro. And I'm gonna clear up. I'm down to clear up anything, bro, or take anything down, bro. Hit me up, bro. It's all love. I got an open line, bro. 213-436-1296, bro. You can hit me anytime, bro. We could chop it up like men, bro. I'm not here to discredit anybody, bro. Especially not my lows. You know, I'm pushing 2 C's of the hub and it's Lynwood love at the end of the day. Crip gang, fool. And another thing, names have been changed to protect the innocent and the alleged guilty. You feel me? So keep in mind. Let's get to it. About 7:00 p.m. on July 28, 2009, a 17-year-old teenager named Marshall was with his girlfriend, Kiki, sitting on a park bench alongside a basketball court at the back of a park, which was enclosed by 3 sidewalls and accessible only from the front. The sun had not yet set, and children were playing in the basketball court and in other areas of the park. Marshall and Kiki saw a guy named Little Man walk into the park from the front. Marshall knew Little Man because they had allegedly attended Lynwood High School together. Marshall recognized Little Man from his body language, allegedly. Allegedly, while Marshall and Little Man were in school together, Little Man allegedly became a member of the Lynwood neighborhood Crips gang and proclaimed his membership under a nickname that I'm not going to say. Marshall said he was not a member of Palma Notes and was just an affiliate and never claimed it and never had any tattoos. He said he never had any problems with any members of the neighborhood Crips gang and had last seen Little Man about 1 year before this day. Now, the couple said Little Man quickly walked straight toward Marshall and Kiki. Kiki testified that Little Man looked really suspicious and angry and held his hand inside his pants the entire time he was walking. Kiki asked Marshall if he knew the man. Marshall replied, "Baby, that's Little Man from Lynwood neighborhood." Little Man allegedly stopped on the basketball court about 7 feet from where Marshall and Kiki was sitting. Marshall testified Little Man had a mean look on his face. Marshall and Little Man looked at one another. Marshall said, "I don't bang, man, just stall me out," meaning don't do nothing to me. Little Man replied with something derogatory towards the Palma-Notes. I'm not gonna say it. Shouts out to Palma-Notes. It's all love. Marshall began running, but was trapped by the park walls behind him. He thought he might be able to jump to the wall on his left, so he ran toward it. Little Man allegedly began shooting. The other people in the park began screaming and running away. A gunshot struck Marshall before he made it past the basketball court. Marshall continued to run, but was struck by another bullet. He fell to the ground and attempted to crawl away. Little Man allegedly continued to shoot at Marshall from behind. Kiki testified Marshall fired 6 or 7 shots. Little Man allegedly ran back to the park entrance, and Marshall crawled toward the place where Kiki had crouched behind one of the benches. Kiki called 911. Now catch this though, trip off of this. This is all alleged once again. Kiki and Marshall were questioned by the police department. They all claimed they did not know too much, they didn't know who shot or anything. But because some of the witnesses and some of the kids in the area claimed that they seen them interacting, police arrested Kiki and Marshall for not telling. Ain't that crazy? That's wild, bro. Kiki and Marshall were later released and moved from the area. And since they moved from the area, they no longer feared retaliation because Marshall feared that if he told, he would be considered a snitch and would end up being killed. And Kiki was already pregnant with a child and did not want anything happening to her child. Marshall and Kiki later testified on what happened, but because of their previous actions of not snitching, their testimonies didn't hold up in court and they needed more evidence. So trip on this, bro. Police brought their high school teacher to the court to testify against Little Man. The teacher said, yeah, that's little man from, the teacher said, that's little boy. I think his name Little Boy. Yeah, his name Little Boy. And I remember him. He was one of my students. We used to call him Little Boy. And he messed up the name. And the name Little Boy doesn't match up to Little Man. So that's out. So the case was weak. They couldn't even convict him. But because of the witnesses in the area, they was able to sway the prosecutor and not the prosecutor, they was able to sway the jury. And they ended up convicting Little Man. Little Man got sentenced to 40 years to life. Parole eligibility after 15 years. I had to summarize it. This is a long story, man. I should have said the whole thing because it's super crazy, man. But just a little short story. But yeah, man, that was pretty wild. Yeah, shouts out to the Lynwood neighborhood Crips and all the other Crips to live with. Like I said, it's all love, bro. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit me up, man. Any problems, bro? We could chop it up like men, man. I'm out of here. Donate if you can. Wait.